Renaissance, 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 Renaissance. She talks about her ass on this album, Renaissance. There we go. Sometimes I do these reviews and I start off by going, look, this is a famous artist I don't need to introduce. And Beyoncé is probably in that top 5 artists that I do this for, because why would I introduce her? You don't need an introduction from me. You know who she is. I have liked Beyoncé pretty much due to most of her singles over the years, but I do think she really found her own with Lemonade. It felt like she separated herself from the pack and put out an album that was truly unique to her as an artist. While I didn't quite rave about it as much as other critics out there, I know people thought it was deserving of all the accolades. I mean, it should have won Album of the Year at the Grammys over what it was nominated against, for sure. I agree with that. But it wasn't quite as, perfect to me. I wasn't as into some of the songs on the album, but I still think overall it's a very, very good album and expresses a variety of different emotions. And Beyoncé just expresses so many layers to the things that she's feeling on there. There are songs that, where she's trying to find peace within herself. Where she's trying to find acceptance with what's happened, but also she's still kind of expressing the love for Jay-Z if he did cheat on her, as all of the drama suggested through the album. And it wasn't just one note. And I think some artists can just deliver an album in one note and it can just be the same kind of song the whole way through. Lemonade was not that. Beyoncé found a way to diversify it up the whole way through. She did a bloody country track on there, for fuck's sake, man. And I've been excited for this album for some time, man. I thought Break My Soul was a fantastic lead single. It still is a really good song, one of the best popular songs of the year for me. And just highlighted that Beyoncé might be shifting styles and maybe she's giving us a more house-driven dance album, which I am all for. And now that I've heard the whole thing, I am definitely all for this album. You can't tell me that the introduction of this album, the first 5 or 6 songs aren't excellent. The way they all flow into one another is fantastic. I'm That Girl has a nice bouncing beat to it, but you almost feel like something's on its way. It's almost like something is brewing, and then you transition into Cozy and it's suddenly like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling the driving, bouncing beats already, and it is coming through so hard. And she doesn't overdo it. Like tracks like Alien Superstar, there's a nice amount of sass, there's a nice amount of attitude, there's a nice amount of sensual sexiness to it. And it all feels like it's mixed together in such a great way, and it never feels like she's, overdoing one thing. It's just a nice blend over some fantastic instrumentals. Category is Sexy Bitch, as she says. The sample of I'm Too Sexy is really well done, way better than anything Drake could do. By the way, I almost feel like she did this on purpose just to kind of show Drake how it's done. I mean, Drake dropped a house album and then she gave us Break My Soul not long after. I don't know, man, is she dropping subliminals towards Drake? Because it kind of feels like maybe. But alas, Aubrey is on this album himself. He gets a writing credit on Heated. And to be fair, it's not one of my favourite tracks. I feel like it reminds me a little bit of something that he would have done with Passion Fruit, that kind of dancehall sort of beat. The melody isn't quite as strong here, but when Drake's involved these days, there aren't really too many melodies, are there really? Sorry, Drake. I'm an absolute sucker for horns, so of course Cuff It absolutely is right up my street. This track is so fantastic. The Cuff It Baby refrain that comes towards the end, again transitioning into energy so well. The funky disco feel to it is so good. Kind of reminds me of something Lizzo was doing a little bit with her About Damn Time single. Just feels like it's a nice callback to a good era of music, a fun era of music without feel like it's copied and pasted. Then it goes into Energy, as I've already said, which has a nice energy to it with the great vocal feature. The beat is really good as well. It's so short, this track. It feels like it could be longer, but again, the transition into the next track after is so stellar. These flawless transitions are so bloody good. She's even coming through with some triplet flows as well. The Keyless sample is a bit questionable, obviously, because Keyless seems to believe that, she hasn't been paid for this sample. It's actually not technically Beyonce's fault, apparently, though. Apparently it's the Neptunes' fault, so I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's a shame that that's had to happen because the song is so good and I feel like the sample is utilised so well that it is a shame that it's kind of been cursed with some wrongdoings within the industry. But man, the transitions again is just so good, flawless. It reminds me of that Pierre Bourne album from last year, which was top 3 of the year for me, by the way. But his approach to just transitioning songs so flawlessly was excellent. And this is an album that doesn't do it the whole way through. There are some breaks. I mean, Church Girl kind of cuts off with the transitions, but it feels like it's been, you know, about a year since I heard an album that did this as well. Speaking of Church Girl though, there are some booty shakers on this album. I mean, this track particularly, Thick as well, which comes later on. Don't necessarily have an issue with this track per se, but I just feel like something doesn't feel too right with it and it gets a bit monotonous by the end. Maybe because the driving dance beat isn't there, and that's kind of what I'm absolutely all for with this album, and maybe this one's sucking it out a little bit, doesn't quite work for me. And then Even America Has a Problem has that on it too, but of course the title feels a bit baity and also a bit of a joke because obviously it sounds like it's going to be Beyonce doing a political song, but then obviously the song itself is not about that at all. Apologies as well if you hear any chirping beeps throughout this review. I'm trying to avoid it, but my smoke alarm is fucking going off and it's doing my head in. So I will try and cut out those moments if any pop up, but if you hear them, please bear with me. I'm trying my best. I've just moved into this place. There are other tracks that kind of divert away from the dance house driven stuff. I mean, it's not full on house really. I guess it's more dance stuff really. But Plastic Off the Sofa is a nice little slow jam. Beyonce performs really well on this track. She just has a lot of personality coming through, which makes this song really nice on the ears. It's got a bit more of an R&B flair to it, a bit like something Rochelle Jordan was doing on her last album. And Virgo's Groove, man. This is a jam right here. Holy shit, man. This 6-minute epic jamming, groovy as fuck song with the chorus is, oh man, the vocals. Beyonce, bro, she is just killing this, man. The way she seamlessly transitioned into these groovy dance rhythmic bangers is so impressive because she wasn't doing this shit before. And it legit feels like she's been doing this shit for years, but somehow she hasn't been. Oh my God, such a great song. Ah, damn, these instrumentals are killing me, man. This is such a great, well executed and performed pop album. It's incredibly good. Pure Honey, I think, is a really good track because it kind of brings out that dutty bass at the beginning, which some of these other tracks go for as well, like Thick. But then when she gets to Honey, it kind of goes into the more funky direction and it kind of blends both worlds together, which I think is really fun and is really, once again, well executed. Like I say, the production, the producers across this album deserve all the accolades they can possibly get. I mean, I hope they got paid like crazy because this is so well produced. And of course, there's many samples throughout this album too. The final track, of course, Feel Good by Donna Summer, is interpolated throughout this and sampled. She kind of makes it better. Not that I don't like the original, of course, you have to pay respects to the original, but I just think the way she uses it and how she, you know, incorporates it into the song is fantastic and just done so well, and her vocals are so elegant on this too. It's a fantastic end to a fantastic pop album. I'm going to go down as one of the best pop albums and popular albums of the year, and wow, I'm impressed. I mean, not to say that I wasn't expecting Beyonce to do something this good, because I know she has it in her, but obviously I wasn't expecting this album to come from Beyonce. I wasn't expecting her to go in this dance direction, and the way she's just seamlessly transitioned into it so excellently is super impressive. In places, it's reminding me of how fantastic the production and how fantastic and catchy the songs were on Dawn FM, or even Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. We are in a new era where pop artists are just going all out and really finding the right producers to fit their style perfectly and putting out some of the best pop songs of our generation. And I'm impressed that artists are stepping up and raising the bar every time, because it always feels like these artists are picking and choosing the right people to work with that fit their style so well, and it's coming through in these albums. Yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, in terms of lyrics, I don't think you're going to get a great deal out of this. I don't think it's really meant for that. And there's a lot of booty talk on this album, and Beyoncé is going all in on shaking that booty. But look, performance-wise, Beyoncé sounds fantastic. There's so much charisma coming through, which is exactly what an album like this needs. And she brought it, she sells the fuck out of it, and it's produced so well. One of the best pop albums of the year, as I've already said. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10 from me. It's fantastic. On a musical level and performance-wise, it is fantastic. I have so much fun with it. It's easily one of the albums of the year. And yeah, that's it from me. That is my review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you like it as much as I do. If you like it less, tell me why. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. That would be great. Please do that. Tell me what I should review next. Check out my Patreon. And good.